Chapter 7, Focus and Health. A few years ago, when I was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder and was given the focus pills by my doctors in order to help me with my lack of being able to pay attention. Hey, what's going on? Memory Master Champion Lewis Angel right here with AE Mind. And in my Better Memory Now book, I actually go into the story as to how I actually got started in this field of memory improvement. And one of the biggest triggers for me was the fact that I was diagnosed with ADD, or attention deficit disorder. And essentially, this just means that my mind was not able to focus on one thing at a time. It was always scattered and thinking about either the pretty girl that I forgot to talk to that day, or who was gonna win on the real world challenges later on that night for that episode, or something more important, such as what I was gonna eat for lunch and dinner. You see, my mind would always be bouncing around. It wasn't able to get clear on the one thing that I need to focus on, which was, for example, I would be reading a book in the class, and this is one of the main reasons why I was actually failing class, was because I would read, and about 10 to 15 minutes in, I'll look up and I'll realize, like, what was this even about? What was I reading? Who were the characters? What's the plot? I had no idea, because why? After the first sentence, my mind was already in La La Land. I don't know if that has ever happened to you, but it used to discourage me, and that's what led me to not doing my homework, to not paying full-on attention when my teacher was teaching, and procrastinating. And it wasn't necessarily because I wanted to do those things, but it was because I was discouraged at the fact that all my classmates were finishing their work and were actually able to pay attention, and I wasn't. So I would see them finishing up exams very quickly, and I would just fill in like any random answer just to finish up and to catch up with the rest of the class. So it would be random patterns on the Scantron sheets. And I remember going to my doctor's office, and all they would give me were the amphetamine-based drugs, the Ritalins and so on and so forth, the focus pills as they call them, and that was their only solution. Now, I'm not saying that the doctors are bad for prescribing that. I mean, that's what they're taught. They're taught to give kids and give even adults these pills to help them to calm them down so they can fully concentrate on the task at hand. But honestly, that didn't really help me out. Yes, I saw an improvement maybe the first day or second day. I still remember my first experience with Adderall and the Ritalin based pills that they gave me. I remember taking the pill and taking a nap, but then afterwards when I woke up, I remember standing up and looking at my room. My room was always a mess. Looking at my room, and I was like, why am I such a pig? And I remember that day just cleaning every square inch of that room. I picked up my mattress, I put it out into the living room, I dusted every little square inch of that bed frame. I mean, dust bunnies were scared to go into that room after I was done with it. I was so focused, I was not thinking about anything other than just cleaning my room. It was actually very similar to the Limitless movie when Bradley Cooper took the NCT pill, and as soon as he walked into his kitchen, I mean, he just started cleaning everything. That's exactly what I did. I remember it helped me for maybe 1 or 2 days afterwards, but once it wore off, that was it. I mean, the only thing that I really felt was my heart racing and trying to beat out of my chest. It's essentially an amphetamine. It has a very similar composition as meth or speed. So your heart's racing, your blood is pumping, and it's kind of weird how that works. How, you know, your blood is pumping more oxygen and more blood flow to your brain, but you're more calm and focus. I don't know how exactly the science behind that. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not here to give you any medical advice. If it helps you out, great. All of that I'm telling you here is my story as to how I got over that. Honestly, what I felt when I took these pills was it was a temporary band-aid to this problem and this pain that I was feeling of not being able to focus, of always forgetting what I had to do, to a point where, I mean, I felt sorry for the fishes afterwards, but I dumped all the pills inside my toilet and I just flushed it, and I saw them just roll all the way down, saying to myself that there must be a better way. And I was never gonna go back to the psychiatrist to tell them my ADD pills weren't working, to give me higher doses and everything like that, because honestly, that wasn't gonna fix the actual problem. What really helped me out was these 3 things. Number 1, focusing on my diet, focusing on the things that I put into my body on a regular, consistent basis, because, you know, eating hot Cheetos, eating deep fried anything, eating pizza every day was definitely not a great food choice when you're trying to focus and pay attention. So focusing on my health, to drinking more water, or putting more fruits and vegetables into my diet, that was a huge contributor to my ability to focus more. Because when I discovered that our body, including our brain, are composed mainly of the H2O substance that we put in, that healthy, clear stuff that we drink, I was like, I need to drink more of that. And I noticed that whenever I was feeling either groggy or not able to concentrate on something, it was probably because either I was dehydrated or on the verge of being dehydrated. So I started consuming more water. That helped me out tremendously. More water-based foods, antioxidant-rich berries, blueberries, strawberries, flax seeds, and flaxseed oil, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which help brain performance. I became a little monkey boy by eating more bananas. Bananas are rich in potassium, which I also learned that the brain uses a potassium in order to help the neurons communicate with each other more effectively. The next thing that I started to do was learn how to meditate. I mean, just calming your mind, being more centered and here in the now definitely helps you when you need to pay attention to, say, a book that you're reading, or a teacher that you're trying to pay attention to in class, or maybe just a friend telling you a story of how their day went. I view the practice of meditation and calming your mind as kind of like shooting your free throws before you go out and play a huge basketball game, right? You need that practice in before you go out and try to actually focus on what's important in life. Third thing that I started to do more of, and something that I still do to this day obviously, is do more memory training. I train my brain to be able to absorb a lot of information in a very short period of time, such as memorizing decks of cards very quickly, such as memorizing long numbers, 3.14159265. I mean, that's pi. I could keep going on and on, but memorizing long numbers in a very short period of time, that helped me out tremendously in life. Learning how to memorize names and faces, and that led me to compete in memory competitions. I'm not saying that you have to be that extreme and go to that level of extremity to improve your own memory, but definitely just saying a little bit of time, maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes, to really do any type of brain enhancing activity, such as memorizing a lot of info in a very short period of time, will help you out to be able to focus more. Because, for example, in these memory competitions, we have to sit down for up to an hour memorizing tons of decks of cards, or hundreds, if not thousands, of numbers in that period of time that they give us. So those are the three things that help me to go from being diagnosed with ADD and taking these focus pills to having an actual permanent solution to the problem that I had of not concentrating, not paying attention, of always having my mind wander off. And it's just all about practice makes perfect, but practicing in the right fields makes perfect. So three things that I started to do were: one, eating better, putting more water and water-based foods into my diet. Two was meditating on a regular basis, even doing like hot yoga, because that helped me focus for 90 minutes straight on the movements at hand. And number three was doing my memory training exercises on a regular basis. So I want to know from you in the comment section down below, like, what are some of the experiences that you've had with having either been diagnosed with ADD or just having focus issues? I want to know some of the stories that you've had, and what are you going to do from this point forward to help alleviate that, so that you don't continue to go down that path of having to constantly take medication, and have more of a natural path to helping you stay focused and pay attention, and as a consequence of that, help improve your memory as well. So I gave you my tips, my strategies. I want to know what you're doing to help you out down below. Post a comment down below, like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Check out my other focus and memory improvement videos here, and I'll see you on the next one. Keep learning, keep growing. We out.